So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the difference between perfect and imperfect verb forms in Ukrainian. In Ukrainian we call this недоконаний вид. This is the imperfect form of a verb, and доконаний вид. And I think for a lot of people this maybe is confusing, but in a nutshell, when we talk about imperfect verb forms, we're talking about things that occurred or occur in the process of time or maybe repeatedly, whereas when we use the perfect form of a verb, we're talking about something that either happened one time in the past or that will happen one time in the future. It will be a start and a finish, and we're encapsulating that entire event on the timeline. So for example, if I want to say that I used to go to school regularly, I would use an imperfect past tense verb. If I wanted to say that I went to school one time, then I would use a perfect form of the verb. So for example, one sentence that was offered to me recently is the sentence where I could say I was walking along the street and I found some money. And this is interesting because it uses two verbs. In this case, the verb for walking, I would use the imperfect verb because I'm speaking about the process. I was in the process of walking. And then I found some money, I would use the perfect verb because that was a one-time event. I'm not trying to say that I continually find money. I'm trying to say that I was in the process of walking, and then at one point on the timeline I found the money. So I would use the imperfect form of the word for walking, ishov, ya ishov, and then I would say that I found the money using the perfect form of that verb, which is znайшов in the past. So the full sentence would be я йшов і знайшов гроші. Або я йшов по вулиці, I walked along the street, і знайшов гроші, and I found some money. So that's an example of the past tense. Another example in the future tense, by the way, let me go back to that. If, for example, I wanted to say that I walk along the street and I find money every day, I could say something like this. Я кожного дня іду по вулиці, і часто знаходжу гроші. So that would be like, every day I walk along the street and I find money often. So another example, like in the future, very simple one, would be for the verb to do, робити in Ukrainian. So if I want to say that I do this regularly, I would say, that would be the imperfect form. I would say я це роблю регулярно. If I want to say I'm going to do it one time, like someone says, hey Joshua, I need you to come do this, and I say, okay, I will come and do it tomorrow. I would say завтра я це зроблю. Now, what if I wanted to say tomorrow? What if I wanted to say that in the future I will do this multiple times? There are a couple of ways you can do that. You could say я буду це робити. Буду, you can use the word буду and then add the infinitive, and that can kind of have a couple different meanings. Sometimes people will say that, and what they mean is a perfect form of the verb. They actually still mean they're going to do it one time. But when they use the word буду, like I will, they're more placing accent on the fact that they're willing to do it. Conversely, they could say я не буду це робити. That would still be like the perfect form, or grammatically it would be imperfect, but the idea would be a single action, but the accent is on the idea that I don't want to do that. Another way you can do it is you can say я це робитиму. That's a less common form, but it gives the impression, or gives the idea that in the future something will happen multiple times. But to sum up, if I want to say I do something regularly, I would say я це роблю. If I want to say I'm going to do it one time in the future and I'm gonna finish the task, then I would say я це зроблю. If I want to say I'm walking right now, I would say, or I'm going right now, I would say я йду. That's the verb іти, which is the imperfect. If I want to say like I am going to go, in a certain amount of time, I could say я піду. You could also, another example would be the motion verbs for transport. I could say я їду, like I'm talking on the phone and someone says, hey, when are you coming? And I want to say, oh, I'm driving right now, I'm on the way. I could say я вже їду. If someone says, hey, when are you coming? And I want to say, I will come tomorrow, I would say я, or I will really more like go tomorrow. Я поїду завтра. So many times, if you have an imperfect verb, you can make it, which is the недоконаний вид, you can make it perfect by adding on a prefix. This is particularly true with verbs of motion, for which there are a plethora of prefixes. So anyway, I hope that was clear. Imperfect and perfect forms of Ukrainian verbs.